Good afternoon. Welcome to Midcap Radar. I'm Sonal Bhutra, and with me today is Mangalam Malu. Mangalam, good afternoon. You're joining us on a day when markets have seen a pullback. A little bit of that, actually not a little bit, a lot of it. Nifty is below that 25,900 mark. Mid-caps, they're actually outperforming the markets generally, but of course it's still a fall. The Bank Nifty is the one which is putting a lot of pressure. Absolutely.
For the last two trading sessions, we've seen the Nifty Bank fall almost 1,500 points. And, the Nifty itself from the top has seen a correction of nearly 500 points. So what we'll do is we'll take note of all the top stories that we're tracking this afternoon and get cracking on the market moves and get you perhaps some corporate conversation as well. A broad-based sell-off is what we've seen in the stock market, with declines far outstripping advances. Realty and auto are the big losers, even as metals and consumer durables eke out some moderate gains. Mid-caps relatively outperform in the way that they do not fall as much as the frontline indices.
PB Fintech top brass tells CNBC-TV18 they will make a one-time only investment of up to $100 million for a 20 to 35% stake in health venture to set new cost benchmarks, as most can't afford hospital rooms at 78,000 rupees per night.
Bagel Projects gains over 6% as it forays into data center segment by securing its first order for an upcoming private data center service provider company to construct and design a new substation in Navi Mumbai.
Avintel gains over 7% after receiving purchase order worth 45 crore rupees from L&T for domestic order for supply of SATCOM systems, order to be executed by March 2025. Okay, all right. Those are the top headlines that we are tracking for you for the markets. Continues to be a down day, of course. The Sensex is down 1.3%. We do have the Nifty, which is sitting with cuts of around 300 points. Bank Nifty is the one which is putting a lot of pressure. So we have an 850-point cut on the Bank Nifty today. HDFC Bank, we have Kotak Mahindra Bank, all of them contributing to the losses that we are seeing right now. Markets are at the day's low. That continues to be the case. The only green that we are seeing on the screen is coming in from Nifty Metals, and that index, it's the 8-day running that we are seeing that index in the green because of whatever is happening in Chinese markets as well and the stimulus that has come by. But of course, that has come off from the highs as well. So lots happening in the broader markets, and looks like this was something which was expected after markets touching that record high levels.
Looks like this was something which was expected. What wasn't expected, however, is the broad-based sell-off that we're seeing. More so in the Nifty Bank, perhaps a risk of a double top out there. We have, Reliance, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, all of them dragging the indices. Meanwhile, when we were talking about the headlines, there was some news at the bottom of your screen with regards to the Aurobindo Pharma stock as well, which is currently sitting at the cut of almost 3%. We had US FDA observations, close to around 10 observations coming in for one of their facilities, and we'll get to details of that in just a bit. Maybe those flashes come back for you on the screen. There was a sharp knock as those details of the US FDA issues for some of their plants did come by. 10 observations is what we've flashed. We'll get to the nature of those observations in just a bit, but given the sharp reaction on the stock price, it tells you that the nature perhaps may not be very benign. Keep an eye out on a couple of these two-wheelers as well. All of them declining as we speak. We have TVS Motors, Hero MotoCorp lower in today's trading session. There was a weak brokerage note coming by as well. And Bajaj Auto 2 currently sitting with a cut of almost 2.5% off its 52-week high. But let's talk about a lot of the other mid-cap movers and shakers. Hormaz joins in with a list of stocks that are moving around. Hormaz, there still are pockets, or rather islands, of green in the market.
There still are, but then predominantly the color of the screen is indeed red. And we'll start off with the losers within the broader market space, besides those that you guys just mentioned. And Bharti Hexacom is one of them, seeing some bit of profit booking after the surge that it has seen from its IPO price, 4% down there today as well. Some of the other high flyers in recent times, Kalpataru Projects, Indian Hotels also not having a good day, shaving off another 3.5% each in today's trading session. Real estate is the top sectoral loser in today's trading session, and that continues from where it left off on Friday, and almost all the real estate stocks are trading with losses today. Sobha is down to the lowest point of the day, as is Macrotech, was down 7% on Friday, down another 4% in today's session. But that one pocket of green that is still managing to hold on despite coming off the highs of the day is the metal names. NMDC, after the iron ore price recovery, is up 4%. Nalco, JSPL also doing fairly well for themselves. And stocks finally that are doing well on the back of very strong volumes in today's trading session. You would find Saregama, that has been on a tear in recent times. After a 2-day drop, the stock is back above 10% today. Whirlpool is having a very good day, as is AstraZeneca, now at the highest point of the day, 6% higher with very strong volumes. Back to you guys.
All right, take that point. Thank you so much for that. Saregama, Whirlpool, Kirloskar Brothers, and a bunch of other stocks, AstraZeneca as well, doing well. Important to point out, Aurobindo Pharma as well. Aurobindo Pharma currently sitting with a cut. We do have, we'll shortly get Ekta joining in on what exactly the observations for their API unit is, and this is for their API unit of the subsidiary, Apitoria Pharma, and 10 observations for the API unit at Sangareddy in Telangana itself. What we'll do is take a short break, come back on the other side, get you, all the details on Aurobindo Pharma with Ekta, and also we'll have the management of Sri Renuka Sugars, Atul Chaturvedi, who's the executive chairman, joining in to discuss the possibility of a potential hike in ethanol prices. Welcome back. Let's talk about Aurobindo Pharma. The US FDA has issued 10 observations for their API unit of a subsidiary called Apitoria Pharma. Ekta joins in with more details of that one. Ekta.
Well, yes, Aurobindo Pharma is in focus because the US FDA has issued 10 observations to the company's Unit 2 API manufacturing facility in Telangana. It was inspected from the 23rd of September to the 27th of September. The company has said that these observations are procedural at this point in time and will be addressed in stipulated period of time. Now remember that Aurobindo does come from a background of regulatory issues. Most recently, what we did here in August is that their arm Eugia Specialties Unit 3 was issued a warning letter by the US FDA, and also the Eugia Unit 2 was classified as an official action indicated status in the same month. So on the back of that, now in the month of September, we've seen that they've been issued 10 observations to their API plant. Though the company says they are procedural, we will need to see the details of the observations.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Ekta, for joining us with those important details. The stock that was down 3% has recovered from the lows as well. We'll put spotlight on the sugar sector. The government is mulling hike in ethanol prices. Do note, ethanol prices are not hiked since 2022-2023. Ethanol supply year and MSP has remained unchanged since Feb 2019 at 31 rupees per kg. To discuss this and a lot more, Atul Chaturvedi, the executive chairman at Sri Renuka Sugars, is joining us now. Mr. Chaturvedi, thank you so much for joining in. Earlier government lifted restrictions on ethanol production. Now the buzz is that there could be an increase in ethanol prices. What are the expectations with respect to price hikes here?
No, we are expecting the moon. In fact, last year in December, when the government banned the making of ethanol from cane juice and B-heavy molasses, it actually came as a bolt from the blue. And in fact, recently, about a month or so back, the government came up with the notification that now the ban has been lifted. So we were expecting some kind of an action to happen as far as price revision and opening up of this cane juice ethanol is concerned. And in fact, the other day at the ISMA conference, I was also there. The minister actually said that they are seriously working on this, and we can hope to have some price revision coming before the start of the crushing season. We are expecting that. Yeah.
So how much are you expecting this revision to be, and what could the resultant impact on your revenue and margin be because of this revision?
No, I would say that we don't know what the revision would be, but the demand of the industry has been that there's no reason why ethanol made from maize be purchased at close to 72 rupees, and from cane juice, which has a pretty good ecosystem in place and which had been at the forefront of this ethanol campaign, why should it remain at 60 rupees for B-heavy and about 65 for? So what we are expecting is it should be closer to about 72 or closer to about where maize ethanol is. But we still don't know what the number would be. And Yeah, in terms of the impact on our revenues, I will just share with you that last year was a disaster in terms of distillery capacity utilization. A normal utilization is in the region of about 20 crore liters, but last year was a disaster. It was about just about 4 crore liters or thereabouts. So I think this is news. This news, if and when it comes, is going to be manna from the heaven as far as we are concerned.
Okay, so 4 crore liters is what you did last year. Then what is the target for this year, Mr. Chaturvedi? How has the ramp up been in ethanol production? The earlier indication was 20 crore plus liter production this year. Is that on track?
No, I'm sure we should be in a position to utilize our capacity to the extent 100% or more. And if and when the government comes up with this revision in prices, which we are expecting should be there in the first week of October, because crushing season is going to start in the later part of October. So I think it should be coming now. And there's no reason why we should not be in a position to fully utilize our capacity, which is close to about 1,250 kiloliters. And when we are running on juice, it actually becomes something like 13 to 1,400 KL per day.
So, if we get that math right, say assume this, closer to 70 sort of revision comes by in October itself, your target for this year is 20 crore liters. Assuming you've done about 10 in the first half of this year already, you are left with around another 10 to do in the remainder of this year. So 10 into 12 would give you an additional revenue of 120 crores, 100 to 120 crores. Would that be a correct way to assess this?
I won't say that would be the correct way to assess it. In fact, the revenue would depend on how much of the ethanol is actually physically moved out, because that alone is going to impact our sales. But on a rough basis, our contribution from ethanol, we expect to be about 40% of our total revenue. And our revenue stream is from two sources. One is the port-based refineries, and the other is the crushing plant. What I'm giving you rough number is from the crushing plant. The export from refineries is a separate subject altogether. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chaturvedi, we get that point. Thank you so much for joining in with your insights as always and telling us what to expect when it comes to ethanol price hike and a lot more with the company as well. We'll slip into a short break. Up next, we'll focus on Zee Media. That stock has been up and away. This is our mid-cap spotlight segment. We'll tell you all about what's happening here. Stay tuned.
But just pull up the intraday chart of Sri Renuka Sugars. The commentary of the management seems to have spurred the stock price, and currently it's recovered a goodish 3.5–4% from the lows at the high point of trade. For most part of today's trading session, Sri Renuka Sugars was absolutely flat, and then as the management did tell us about the possibility of an increase in ethanol prices, there has been an up move in the stock price as well. But another stock which has been buzzing around for a while, over 70% gains in the very recent past, is Zee Media. The stock locked at 10% upper circuit today as well. Mind you, just a 22–23 rupee stock. It's the one which has the spotlight on today on mid-cap radar. Vamakshi tells us why exactly the stock has rallied over 60% in the last 7 days. Vamakshi.
Well, absolutely, Mangalam. This stock has been surging over the last couple of trading sessions. Like you rightly pointed out, the stock is up over 73% in the last 6 sessions. And in fact, in the month of September itself, it's up almost 63%, which is, the best ever monthly gain that the stock has seen on record. And these gains are largely being supported by very strong volumes as well. The average daily traded value over the last 3 trading sessions is at 153 crores, while the free float of the company is at 1,015 odd crores. Now, on an average, therefore, nearly 15% of the free float market cap was traded daily over the last 3 sessions. The potential trigger could be the fundraise that the board approved. They've approved a fundraise of almost 200 crores via issue of 13 crores of warrants. The warrant holders additionally have 18 months to convert their warrants into equity shares. But that said, there are some important risks, the key risks that should be kept in mind. The company has been reporting a net loss every quarter since quarter ended September 22. Additionally, the overall debt profile for the company stood at 135 odd crores as at 31st of March 2024, which includes around 2.5 crores of long-term debt, and the remaining is short-term debt. On the other hand, the cash generated from operations for FY24 was at around 62 crores, which is much lower as what the company had generated in FY23. In July 2024 as well, Care Edge downgraded their rating on the counter. They also changed the outlook on the long-term rating to negative from stable, and they cited moderation in the operating and financial performances, as well as, more importantly, continued uncertainty on the ability of the company to generate adequate cash flow from operations relative to the sizable debt repayment obligations in FY25. And finally, the promoter holding in the company is also very, very low at only 0.42%. As on June 30th, 2024. So definitely the stock has seen a very large surge in the trading session, but it is important to be mindful of all the risks surrounding this counter.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vamakshi, for putting all those risks on table for the investors to gauge upon as well. That's Zee Media, but as Vamakshi said, there are a lot of risks associated with the company. So the stock up around 70% in last 7 trading sessions already. With that, we'll take your leave on this edition of Midcap Radar. Stay tuned, your stocks when we return.